Hello everyone and welcome. In this part we will be creating a starter app with Node.js, Express and MongoDB. To follow along you need to have the node installed on your computer, which come along with the npm. Just go to nodejs.org and download either the LTS or the current version. Straightforward process. Once you have it on your computer, to make sure it is installed correctly, you need to type node-v. You get the version you currently have, or node or npm-v, npm-v. Alright, if you get a version, it means it is installed correctly. So let's get started with our course. First, I will create a new folder called starter inside a node folder. Starter, and I'll open it in my editor. First thing, you need to open your CMD, your terminal, and type npm init, which will initialize a new npm package. I will keep the default. It will ask you for a couple of information. I will keep all the information as it is. Once it's done, you will have a new file called package.json. Next thing, we need to create the index.js, which will bootstrap our application. Inside the index.js, we need to run a server that listens to a certain port. To do this, we will be using the ExpressJS. So let's install express.js by typing npm install express, which will be installed as a dependency for our development and production environment. Once it's done, as we can check it in the package.json and see that it is listed in the dependencies. So next, we need to requires it by typing constant express equal require express. Here we are creating a constant and name it express that will contain the expressed object. Next, we need to create another constant that will contain the express app, which will name it constant app. And to have an express app, all we need to do is call the express function. Express is a function that have also, it includes several other objects where you can call them on the express, so it can be used as a function or as an object. Second, we need to, using the app, we need to call the listen method to listen on a port. App.listen. We need to send two parameters. The first one will be the port, and the second one a callback function, which will be called once it's successfully created the server. Inside this function, I will simply log a message: server is listening on port 4000. Now, encoding the port as we have it right now is not good. We need to have a variable that will check whether we are on the production server or on development server. In case we're on production server, we need to retrieve the port that is provided by the production server. So to do this, we need to create a new constant, which will name it port equal. To retrieve the default port in case we're on a production service, all we need to do is process.inv. all capital case port. Port will be the name of the production environment variable that is available on the server for any Node app. If in case we're on development server and this is not available, we'll use our port. If we're on production, use the default port provided by the production server, or in case it's null, use 4000 our own port. So we need to replace the hard-coded port with a constant port. Here also we need to use the port constant. Since we're using Node and Node support ES6 and most of ES7, so I prefer to do it using the interpolation string. This is a new feature in ES6. By using the sticks here instead of the quotes, this string here literal will be evaluated, and this will be replaced by the correct variable value. So this works the same as adding plus port. All right, now we have a server. We can try and run our app to test. Node index server is listening on port 4000. Now I open my browser and I go to localhost 4000, which it's working correctly. Now let's handle this URL. We can do this by using the get method of the app constant we have already created. So app.get, which will take two parameters, the router or the path of the URI. Currently it will be / and a function, a callback function that will be called with two parameters, request and response. Here I will send a dummy text by using the response.send hello world, just like this. So, and if we to be able to check the changes, we need to restart our server. I will shut it down, then run it and start it again. Here if we refresh, we'll get hello world as expected. As you can see, each time I'm doing a change, I'm shutting down my server and starting it again. But there is a better way on since we are on development server. We can install a package that will restart automatically each time we do a change. This package is called NodeMod. So let's install it. npm install NodeMod. I want it only on the development server. I don't want it on the production, so I will specify save -dev. Alright, once it's done, you can check the package.json and see that NodeMod is listed inside the dev dependencies this time. Back to our index.js. We can run this file now using NodeMod index.js, which will run the server as expected. But now if you do any changes, like let's say hello world 2 and save, you can see that the server already automatically restarted, and by refreshing the browser we see we have the changes available. This is it. One thing I would like to add is to hide this abstract, this NodeMod index.js, by creating a script inside the package.json. I will name the script dev, which will run the same command I ran it earlier, which is NodeMod index.js. So from now on, all I need to do is npm run dev, which will run this command. Back to our index.js. And now the second thing we need to do is to, since this is an API application, and for others to be able to connect to my API, I need to set up the cores correctly. I need to allow other application to access my app. I can restrict the access to some app, or I can restrict access to some type of URL, like only give them access to get or post. To do this, we can do it manually, or we can use a plugin that is called also conveniently cores. This plugin will set up everything automatically. For now, we will allow access to all the app for all the type of request. To do this, I need to install the cores package. Once done, I need to require it in a constant called cores, require cores, and the cores is a function that I need to call it each time I make a request. It will intercept the request and change the header accordingly. So in order to do this, to have it called on each request, Express give us a way to specify this by using app.use. Okay, inside the use I need to specify cores. This way we'll have cores running every time we receive a request. And that's it for the cores. Now we have cores set up correctly. If I check my previous request, okay, if I disable the cores and I make now a request, sorry, I need to run my server first. Alright, if I made now a request without cores and check the localhost, the response header, I can see that there is no something related to giving access and anything related to access to cores. Now, if I enable cores and reload the request and type localhost, I can see now I have new header attribute, which is access control allow origin all. The stars mean all. This is set up by cores by default. Alright, that's it for cores. Now we need to send we need to be able to receive JSON body with the request. To be able to receive JSON body, we need to specify a middleware by using app.use. Fortunately, Express give us this functionality inside the package. It's available using express.json. This way, each request we receive could contain a JSON body, and we can parse it and read it automatically. Next thing we need now to connect to the database, to MongoDB. Enable to connect to MongoDB. First, we need to have MongoDB installed on our computer. I already have it. To be able to install MongoDB, all you need to do is search Google for install MongoDB. And go to the official link. Here you need to choose the correct installation for your operating system. Here in Windows, I installed it using here the Windows, this link. Once you download it on your computer, there is a manual for how to follow the installation. You have 3 links. On Windows, you need to run the installer and follow the installation wizard. Make sure it is set, this is checked, install MongoDB as a service and run service as network service user. This way you'll have MongoDB automatically running once you with the computer services. So once you have MongoDB installed and set up on your computer, you need to connect to it using Node.js. Enable to do this, we need to use a MongoDB driver package, which is available as an npm package. We can install it by typing npm I for short for install MongoDB. This will install the driver. Once it's done, we can use it to retrieve a Mongo client like this. Constant Mongo client equal require MongoDB dot Mongo client. Mongo client actually is a class. Now that we have this class in a variable, in a constant, all we need to do is to get an instance of this class. We create a constant called the client equal to new Mongo client. This class accepts 2 parameters. The first one is a URL, which we'll need to specify. I will create a new constant called db URL equal. The URL need to be like this: MongoDB localhost, the server, and the port. Here I'll put the port and I'll give it as the first parameter to Mongo client. Now the second parameter is optional. It's an object of options, which we don't need it right now. So now I have the client. With the client I can connect, client.connect. Now the connect method take one parameter. It's a callback function that receives an error in case there's an error, or null in case there's no error. So I will check if there's an error. If error, I will console.log the error and return will quit the function. So anything I write, any code I wrote below this if below will be skipped in case there's an error. If there's no error, the function continue normally. So next thing, we need to retrieve the database by creating a constant db using the client. Once we are connected, using the client.db will give us the database that we specify by giving its name here inside the db parameter. So I will create another constant, which will be constant db name equal, I will name it test. So as you can see, I'm grouping this configuration constant together. Later on we'll move them to its own file, and the value will be an environment variable specific only for the development server. Alright, now let's continue. After acquiring the DB, we will need to specify which database we want. After acquiring the database, let's create a collection I will name the collection users. To be able to use this collection, I need to put it in a constant users equal. Alright, so now we have the users collection. I will also create an index, users dot create index. Create index takes two parameters. The first one is the field we need to have it as an index, email, whether one mean true, so email will be an index, and you can specify as many index as you want. Next, we need to specify some options for this index. This index will be unique. One stand for true, and that's it for now. Once I am connected to the DB, I will console log a message that say database connected. This way I know that we have connected to the database, and that's it. Let's try it. One thing I need to rename. I will rename the database to test2 because I already have a database on my local server named test. Let's save and let's run the server again. Let's run the app by reloading localhost 4000, and if I check my if I connect to my local database, I can see there's test2 and the collection users with the index email unique. So everything is working fine. That's it for this part. In the next part, I'll be refactoring the code that you are seeing here. Alright, that's it. Thank you for watching. See you in the next part.